This King Nebuchadnezzar has always fascinated me. The way he went back and forth with Daniel in the Bible. This is in the book of Daniel, 4th chapter. And some of the most beautiful words in the Old Testament were penned right here, I believe. And some people wonder why I'm pointing out these things on my videos about these wicked kings and people that done wrong. You know, the Samsons and the Davids. The reason I do this is because to me it magnifies the love of God, brothers and sisters. It expands on His great mercy, brothers and sisters. That's the reason I always try to point these out in my videos, because of what a rich I am, probably. It leaves more room for me in God's rich mercy. But anyway, this is how this little short text is where uh, Nebuchadnezzar, his every time, he'd always go back on his pride. He was a prideful king. And finally he wound up, God, he shows the extent of where God will carry somebody that he has chosen out. Incidentally, this was a man in high places. So God chooses people in high places. I believe that Nebuchadnezzar was a child of grace because of this statement right here in Daniel. But he found himself grazing with the ox and insane. He lost his mind. But nevertheless, if you'll listen to these words, you'll see that he was a child of grace. Anyway, God, for the most part, chooses all His people from amongst the meek and lowly in heart, but He does have kings that He has chosen also. Although, for the most part, you will find His people amongst the common, I guess that's what you would put it, common man. But anyway, at the end of the day, Nebuchadnezzar lifted up. No, at the end of the day, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and my understanding returned unto me. And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored Him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and His kingdom from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. And He doeth according to His will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay His hand, and say unto Him, What doest thou? Listen to that, brothers and sisters. He's finally come to himself, after grazing with the ox. But anyway, at the same time, my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, thine honor. Let me get this where I can see it a little better. Of my kingdom, mine honor and brightness returned unto me, and my counsel and my Lord sought unto me. In other words, God is restoring His kingdom to him, because he was out grazing with the ox. And I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Here it is, God. Isn't this beautiful? Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth, and His ways judgments, and those that walk in pride He is able to abase. That is absolutely true, brothers and sisters. God is able to abase. He's able to humble His people. And I think that's you can tell by this right here that in all this man's pride, in the end, he was a child of grace. King Nebuchadnezzar. And why do I point out these type things, brothers and sisters? Because it leaves more room in God's rich mercy for somebody like me, you know, and possibly the one that's listening to this video this morning. But I'll go on to the next one. I got my coffee here, and I think I'm gonna freshen it up here. And anyway, just wanted to bring that little text this morning from King Nebuchadnezzar, who he finally, at the end of all his, if you read over there in Daniel, at the end of all his pride, God is able to reach anybody. I don't care how. If you look in the news, you see a lot of prideful leaders. But when God gets ready, you got to move. whoever it is, the sheep or the goat, he's going to do what God tells him to do. But anyway, peace and love from Miss Old Boy down here in Alabama. And hope I'll talk to you later on. If God gives me something to say. Peace and love.